I wasn't very fair to Holy Priest my first time through. And now that I've played it so much in Pug Keys, I really want to gush a little bit about just how much I slept on this spec and how much respect I think it deserves. I think it is nearly perfect because it not only is a good beginner spec that can get people into healing with just a couple of spells, but the synergy of its kit and how it teaches the player to play is, I think, what makes it so special. It really harmonizes around triage. Who can we save, and in what order, and how do we save them? Let's take a dive, but before we do, huge shoutouts to my stream for encouraging me to give Holy Priest one more try. I think it might have been the basis for me going for this 3K challenge that I've been on, and I'm just so happy I gave it the time it deserved. That being said, hey, my name is BowserTheHealer, and I'm trying to get all the healers to 3K, pugging only. And while I settled on discipline for the priest side of things, I've been putting in the work on Holy Priest just to make sure that I can talk about it and clean up the keys after I was done with the challenge. And my God, do I love Holy Priest. I never thought I would have said it. I was super wrong. So let's get into it. If you like healing content, get subscribed. It'd mean a lot to me. Or just, subscribe because you like listening to me talk about World of Warcraft. I'd appreciate it. Okay, let's get this out of the way. Holy Priest is all the things Dis does in terms of priest utility. Power Infusion, the 20% haste buff you give to yourself and other people. Shadow Fiend, which with Essence Devour will not only restore your mana, but do some AoE healing for your party. Power Word Fortitude is going to give everyone 5% stamina, which means they're just a little bit thicker in your dungeons. And you still get the excellent defenses of Desperate Prayer and Fade. Fade is a 10%, and anytime you heal someone with the way we talent, yourself or otherwise, with a heal or flash heal, you get a 10% DR. So in a moment's notice, you can have 20% DR just like that. Very cool stuff, very useful. I'm a massive, gigantic fan of it. But for me, it's the simple stuff. So let's talk about it. Do you want to know how to heal on Holy Priest? Like the world's fastest tutorial? I got you. Heal is a chunky heal that costs 1.7 seconds of your time and a little bit of mana. Flash heal, it's a little less on the cast time, but a little more on the mana bar. Slightly less potent, but it doesn't matter. If you got to heal someone quickly, it's flash heal. If you have a little time, I recommend pressing heal. Now, the only other button that I'd argue would help you out, starting to learn, is Prayer of Mending. This sits on a target with charges, and when the target takes damage, it'll remove a charge, heal them, and then jump to a new target. And you can kind of get these out over your whole party over the course of a dungeon or a fight, or even just walking between pulls. And it does a lot of work in the background. Remember, background healing is busted. We love having that. And the damage is easy too. In single target, make sure they have a Shadow Word Pain on them. Keep Holy Fire on cooldown because it does AoE damage with a big single target dot. Then mash Smite to do damage. I'm not kidding. You've done it. Now, there is Imperial Blaze, which is a 1 minute, which will give you 3 Holy Fire casts that are instant casts, cost no mana, and allow you to stack the Holy Fire dot pretty high. But other than that, that's it. Go do your thing. You can heal and do damage and do fine in a decent amount of key levels with even okay gear, just on those concepts alone. But there's a lot more going on here, and I want to talk about the next part I think is really unique. The Holy Word system. So Holy Word Serenity is a fat single target heal. This gets cooled down by using heal and flash heal, otherwise it's a 1 minute per charge. Sanctify. It's an AoE heal, and it'll get cooled down by using Prayer of Healing, your AoE heal. More on this build in a bit, as I don't always run it. Or when you cast Renew. Chastise is a damaging spell that incapacitates the target, and this cools down with smites. Doesn't sound too fancy. Big heals are nice, but you want to open your heals or your damage with this because it summons a paper ghost buddy. I'd like to give a huge shout out to all of you who told me that this is actually like a god of light. However, I'm going to keep referring to them as paper ghost buddy. Now, the more you cast power words, you'll actually continue to boost your paper ghost buddy to become bigger and stronger. But they'll follow up attacks with their own attack, and they'll follow up heals with their own heal. I really, really, really like our paper ghost buddy, our Idol of Naru, because it sort of says, hey, start doing something, and then if something happens, you can change what you're doing. So let's say we started damage, right? Okay, let's start blasting, right? Let's get Holy Fire and cooldown. Uh-oh, someone took damage. Boom, let's heal them, right? Now I'm healing them and Naru's helping, right? And I'm getting a stronger Naru because I used another Holy Word to start. And then I'm cooling down my other moves by healing. And this feedback system is not only good for a beginner, but if you're a master of playing healer, it'll actually do a ton of work for you, because the better you understand triage, who's taking damage, where the spell's going, who's about to get hit, do you need to be doing damage right now? All of that stuff compiles into smooth play. You can play hyper efficient with good damage, good healing, and minimal mana loss. Now, your mana doesn't return for free. You do have Symbol of Hope. Well, actually, I guess it does return for free. You do have Symbol of Hope, which can restore 10% of your missing mana. It also refunds people's defensives, which is sick, just for the record. But no, you actually have boosted mana regen. So because you have 10% faster mana regen, if you play efficiently, your mana just comes back. So by playing smart and playing efficiently and swapping between damage and healing, you'll restore your mana. So it all just balls together. It emphasizes triage, because a lot of this is single target. We are going to go over the healing, the AoE healing situation, but this single target healing is what I want to focus on. Powered Life in the Priest tree is a fat heal that can only be used on targets that are below 35%. But this incredibly fat heal is not only chunky, it'll save someone's life in an instant. Otherwise, you have Serenity and Sanctify for AoE and single target healing, and your standard heal and flash heals. It's all very single target. Prayer of Mendings, though, work in the background. So if you've ramped up your Prayer of Mendings and you pick the right targets to heal, you'll get everyone back up and can return to doing damage or crowd control or whatever it is you need to do. Then to add to the magic of the spec, anyone with a Renew receives 6% boosted healing because of Renewed Faith. So by putting down an AoE heal and giving everyone Renew with our tier set, you're now doing more healing on those targets. So there's this wonderful, wonderful combination of being able to prep, set up, and react. So as you get better at the spec, you can really min-max those sorts of things and make a run feel impossibly smooth. But because it only costs 1 GCD to swap from damage to healing, or from one target to another target, no combos needed, no atonement to set up, no riptides to send out, no massive amounts of restoration druid dots, no. You can just swap. So when that pug gets hit by something they shouldn't have and does something stupid, Holy Word Serenity, and it's over. Not to mention Guardian Spirit, a 3-minute cooldown cheat death. Hand it to someone. If they die, you cheat their death. If they don't die, it goes on a 1-minute cooldown. But the best part is that it's a 60% healing amp. So you can hand someone a Guardian Spirit and then save their life yourself. And if you were successful, well, it's only on a 1-minute cooldown. This is a really powerful setup for pugging. It's everything you'd ever want. Now, the catch is that the AoE healing isn't good, so I do want to talk about that. I am running the AoE healing build, but I normally run the Trail of Light build, which sort of lets you cleave heal your teammates up to full health. It's very fun. It's my preferred way to play. But these 3 talents are all doing a lot of work. Prayer of Healing's kind of like a bad AoE heal. It's okay, but the 11,000 mana cost is kind of costly. But it will cool down your Holy Word Sanctify. Your Circle of Healing is also kind of a meh heal, but it powers up with Renews. So the more Renews you get on a target, the more that'll heal up to 50 stacks, which I want to say is, I don't remember how much healing it is, but it's quite a lot. So all of this bonus healing, if you can get Renews on targets with a Sanctify, then you can maybe get a little more Prayer of Healing and a Circle of Healing. And the Circle of Healing plus all of that should be enough to make it through something terrifying. But it requires timing. Now, that's different though, right? Everything else has been so, split-second decision-making. But I think that's the trick. For a new healer, they gotta learn a little bit of both. And learning that they can rely on their basic heals, but they can also rely on these setups will allow them to gradually become better at knowing when to play what setups. That's better triage. And it's teaching that with its fundamentals. And then to add to the fundies, let's talk about it. Apotheosis. This 2-minute cooldown turns into a pure holy form for 20 seconds. But the big trick with this one is the 300% cooldown reduction that your holy words receive. So, and they also cost nothing. So this means pop Apotheosis, and then you can just spend your holy words, right? Just use them all, whatever, and blast damage, healing, whatever it is. But as you spend your moves that can cool down those spells, look at how fast we get the Serenity cast back. Look at how fast we're about to get our Sanctifies back. So by doing your normal rotation extremely efficiently, and even maybe with some extra overhealing just to get your charges back, you can set yourself up, heal through something crazy, and prepare for the next storm. I love it because it just said, hey, everything you've been learning, the better you are at it, the better this cooldown is. What an excellent display of skill expression. And then the most peculiar, Divine Hymn. This isn't always taken by every player, but this move is stronger outside of raid instances. As it channels, you receive bonus healing, and it ends at around 20% bonus healing, and for 15 seconds when it's done channeling. Now, this means that I'm receiving 20% bonus healing, and so are all my teammates. If you time this ramping heal into a mechanic, you can kind of ramp into the mechanic and then ramp out of the mechanic with the boosted healing. It's so different from everything else we talked about. Once again, rewarding timing. There's a little bit of everything here. And that's why, as somebody who plays healer pretty full time, right? I love this spec. And I think it'll really test your mettle as a healer if you're an experienced player, because you can heal some crazy hard pugs, some ultra challenging groups to heal, just because of the pure speed and reactions that this spec allows you, while also emphasizing your knowledge of the dungeons and when to press your buttons. But even though we don't have the kicking or stopping potential of other specs, you have enough to do basically everything in a pug that you would ever need to do. And I find it unbelievably satisfying. And it's just the little things, like you get to run the Holy Nova talent that lets your Holy Nova charge up and do a giga heal, giga damage. I love that. I think it's great. I like that the speed of the spec is pretty quick. Once you get good at it, you're moving, and that is really engaging. Now, if you're in a lower level key, it's going to get a little boring, but my God, how much fun it is to just slam heals back to back, go to damage, swap to priority targets, and then swap right back to healing. And even sometimes you get these awkwards, do a damage, do a heal, do a damage, do a heal. But it's not a loss on Holy Priest. Maybe on Preservation, that could be a bit dicey if it wasn't planned out accordingly. And on Discipline Priest, if you don't have atonements, then you might be dipping into the flash heal territory, and it's not as strong on Discipline Priest. But on Holy, you're always online. And in some ways it's relaxing, and in some ways it's terrifying, but I've had so much fun with it. So again, to those of you who encouraged me to try it again, thank you so much. I've had an absolute blast. And if you're looking to get into healing, don't be intimidated. I think Holy Priest is a good starting point, with the benefit of having Shadow Priest there if you want a DPS, and Discipline Priest if you ever want to try a slightly more complicated but also very enjoyable healing experience. And it's so very different that some people might not like it. Some people might love having one character with two super unique healing specs. And I know I do. Thank you all so much for watching. And oh yeah, that 3K healing update video, it'll be out soon. I'll see you all there. Take care.